getting ready for our Bible study, and we pray that all is well and that you're safe. And but we're getting ready to start our Bible study, and I'm going to open up with a prayer and a scripture. And there's not a whole lot of us here, but we're going to go ahead and proceed with our Bible study. And but Father God, we thank you for our Bible study tonight. Father, we pray that each word that will take place tonight will help someone in their everyday walk, their everyday life. Father, we pray that all is well with everyone. We pray that that everyone is protected and covered underneath the blood, Father, as this disease run rampant among our people. And Father, we pray that everyone take heed and listen to your word, Father, and confine themselves and limit themselves and be able to stay protected. Father, we pray for our pastor today, Father, as he's continues to touch his body and give him strength, Father, in his body and his mind. Father, keep him encouraged. Father, let him know that you have not forgotten about him, Father. And thank you for just being so good to us. And Father, if there anyone liking in the ministry or any other ministry, Father, we ask you to meet their needs, Father. Give them favor wherever they may go. And Father, we just want to tell you thank you for each and everything that you've done for this ministry, Father. And that I'm going to have a scripture for you. I'm just going to give you the first three verses, and that's the 136 Psalms. And it says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for the Lord is good, for his steadfast love endured forever. Give thanks to God, to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endured forever." It says, "Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endured forever." And I have shared to you just a couple of verses of 136 Psalms to encourage you in your everyday walk. So I'm not going to hold up our Bible study any longer, and I am going to turn this over to Dr. Nilka Lee. But before I do that, I just want to make one quick announcement for the ones that are, anyone that's watching. Mother Thomas viewing will be here tomorrow from 4 to 7. So if you're interested in coming, her wake will be here at Fort Lauderdale Multicultural Church of God in Christ from 4 to 7. And we'll be back Saturday morning for the funeral at 11 o'clock right here at the church. So be on time and make sure that you bring your mask, and we still are going to follow the rules of the land. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this into the hands of Dr. Nilka Lee.
All right, thank you so much, Elder Eason. We appreciate you so very kindly. Thank you for the introduction and bringing us into our Bible study. Thank you, Dr. Sherry Hall, for being in the room with us, and Mother Ali Eason. We thank God for you. Thank God for all of you who are tuning in and who might tune in and who are tuning in through various means to listen to the Bible study. And we're going to kind of do a continuation on wisdom. And our continuation on wisdom is we're going to be kind of comparing or dealing with wisdom and folly. Wisdom and folly. In a world where lots of people are following after folly and going after things that are not wise and trying to achieve certain things, it seems like a good time to deal with wisdom versus folly. And we're still in Proverbs 9, verses 1 through 18. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, it is an extension of our Sunday school material, International Sunday School material. So if you have a Sunday school book, you can kind of follow along with us. If you have a Sunday school material, or if you're preparing for Sunday school on Sunday, this can be a little bit of a prep for the Sunday school. Now, I'm not always the one that follows the general Sunday school thing, so I may be a little different from your Sunday school material, but it will give you a little insight and a little preparation for the study, and you can study further. So Proverbs 9, verses 1 through 18, and our key verse is Proverbs 9:6. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. Forsake the foolish and live. We are often enticed by foolish things, by even sometimes, even now, as we're looking at President Donald Trump and the rallies that he's had. Now, using a juxtaposition, because I told you we're going to compare wisdom and folly, right? Not that first of all, I'm registered as an independent, so I have no party affiliation. So I'm not representing any particular party. But you have the Republican Party with a seated president having live rallies during a time when most places aren't even allowing for large gatherings. Gatherings over 25 people require a huge amount of social distancing, etc., so forth and so on. Yet, a foolish president, and even more than that, he entices foolish people to actually stay in line, camp out overnight, to be able to be at these rallies. In comparison, we have a Democratic Party with a Democratic nominee, Vice President Joe Biden, who is conducting his rallies via social media, via Zoom, via methods that will allow people from all over the United States to be able to be a part of the rally and not put themselves in danger of COVID-19. Again, I may not necessarily go along the regular Sunday school lines, but you can take time this can give you a moment to kind of get interested in reading and studying the lesson. So we're dealing with it, and the topic for the Sunday school is, of course, wisdom's feast. But I'm dealing with wisdom versus folly. That's the part I'm dealing with. And so, forsake the foolish. Yeah, I understand, and I heard some of the supporters who said, we have to come out for Trump, and we've got to support him. And the reason why they said that is this, because so many people, Black Lives Matter and various others, forsook the danger of COVID-19 for the sake of protesting and making a statement about police brutality, and especially police brutality against African Americans or Black people, more specifically Black males, but Black people in general. And so Trump supporters said, we must come out and run the risk of being infected by COVID-19 to show that we also stand behind President Donald Trump. Again, wisdom versus folly. Wisdom versus foolishness. Now, I'm not trying to say that it was so intelligent for all of us to run out here in Black Lives Matter and not have masks and whatever, but many of them at least wore face masks, and many of them tried to keep 6 feet distance. That really wasn't true for the rallies with Donald Trump. Now, they were all given face masks, they weren't made to wear them. So these are foolishness versus folly. Doing things because you think that you're making some kind of wise, brilliant statement. And you think that, oh, well, I'm showing my support for Donald Trump by not being afraid of COVID-19. Well, how foolish do you have to be when you go there, they make you sign a form that says you are indemnifying them from any responsibility of you getting COVID-19 by being at this rally. So the very fact that they have you sign such a form means that they realize that it is a huge risk to have you. So again, wisdom versus folly. Why would you bring your supporters, people who supposedly you love and they love you, in a place where you actually put them at risk? What would that be for? The only reason is because you're narcissistic. The only reason is because you want attention. The only reason is because you like the applause. So we can't forsake the foolish and live. And there are some people that went to that, and I'm sure have, instead of forsaking foolishness, they did the foolish thing and will probably die. There was a young lady on the news the other day that I was watching, I think it was Channel 6, and she talked about the fact that she took the risk as a young person to go out and enjoy her life because she wanted to have fun, and she really didn't care about this pandemic that seemed to be something that really didn't have anything to do with her. And she ended up getting COVID-19. And she said that she took the risk, and in having taken the risk, she had to pay the price for the risk that she took. And she seemed kind of regretful because it wasn't as easy as she thought it was going to be. Now, she didn't die from it, but she had to suffer making the choice of following after folly, because she could have been wise and stayed and sheltered at home. That's what she could have done. So, right, the other people that she might have infected afterwards from having gotten it and brought it back to, because she got it from going out there and partying and enjoying herself. So now she partied, enjoyed herself, and now she ran the risk of being a carrier and infecting others, and all the different things that have caused her to feel or to get messed up simply because you didn't make a wise choice. So wisdom versus folly. And thank you much, Dr. Hall. I appreciate your encouragement. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to say something. I hope it helps somebody that listens or is listening, that they might know what's going on and understand. So the two competing voices call to us on life's journey. There's two competing voices. Now, I know most people say you got the little devil on the one side and the little angel on the other side, right? You got the good versus evil. Well, tonight we're talking about wisdom versus folly, right? And those two voices are constantly trying to convince us of things, trying to tell us what we need to do, how we need to operate, how we should function, what we should do. And I think one of the best ways to figure out whether or not you're doing something foolish or whether you're doing something wise is to find out how much it makes you feel better about you, right? So if you are doing something foolish, oftentimes it brings you a euphoric sense of excitement and joy, right? Because foolish stuff happens to be something that gets you excited emotionally, and it's a temporary excitement with usually at the end of it a whole situation of regret afterwards. Whereas wisdom may not make you feel all that euphoria at the time, right? Because at the time you're thinking, wow, I could go to the theme park and I could be out there with all my friends and have a great time. And that I'm going to have to change and not do, so that I have to deny myself, because the actual truth is the situation is not good for me right now. So I might be, or you go into the mall with some people outside of the COVID-19 where you are with some friends that you know aren't always up to par, that they do some kind of shady stuff. And so you go shopping in the mall with them, and the next thing you know, you get caught off guard because they know what they did. They know that they were about to riot, or they were about to steal something, or whatever wicked thing that they were getting ready to do. But they didn't quite inform you of this. But you kind of knew that that's the kind of people that they are. And so now you're the one, since they know what to do, they get away. You're the one having to talk to the police officer about what you were doing and why you were doing there, and how come you still have this stuff, or why is this bat in your hand, or whatever the case might be, because now you're left holding the bag. Wisdom would have got you out of that, but you were so excited about being in the company of your friends and having a good time that you didn't think about all the consequences. So why should we heed the call of wisdom? Why is it important to listen to wise conversation? Why is it important to be wise people? Why is it important to make good decisions? Why is it important to make good choices? Well, every choice that we make has a repercussion. And I was telling somebody that many years ago, and they were mad at me because they said, oh, no, what do you mean? Every choice has repercussions. I said, everyone, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, every decision you make has a repercussion. It has some type of consequence to it. So whether you choose to do good or evil, you're going to have to deal with the selection that you make and what comes from that. Now, usually, when you make a bad choice, at the very moment that you make the choice, it may not always feel out of place. So you may make a decision to, I don't know, let's say something pretty obvious, like steal some lipstick, because that's something small, something that you could easily hide, that nobody would ever notice, right? And I say that because that's a female thing, since I'm a female. Males are not going to steal lipstick. Well, I would hope not anyway. And so you steal this lipstick, and at the time you're excited and you're energized and you feel some type of quickening because you're like, wow, I feel alive. I did something reckless and I did something with abandon. But you didn't know that the camera caught you and the secret security saw you. And you think you're getting away with something, except for when you get ready to walk out the door of the mall where you were stealing, they get you. Well, the Lord sees you. He sees you always. That's the thing we always forget. God always sees you. You're never going to get away, even if you get away, right? Because some people think, well, I made it out. I didn't get caught. And that's usually how people become serial shoplifters and become kleptomaniacs. Because the thrill of the theft makes, I know somebody said, she's encouraging us to steal. No, I'm trying to explain to you why bad decisions and the enticement between folly and wisdom. Wisdom would tell you, because your parents have told you and everybody else has told you, don't steal. Especially not petty stuff. You couldn't afford to just buy the lipstick? I'd have gave you the money for the lipstick. What you doing? Why are you're going to have a fine and go to jail behind, okay, there are some $100 lipsticks, but chances are you're not stealing that one. Chances are you're stealing the $5, $10 lipstick, because the ones that are $100 aren't where you can get them. They're not where you can just reach them and take them. So God bless you, JD. And when we think about it, that causes us to make bad decisions, bad choices. And we want to know, wait a minute, how do I, and you get caught up in that because you forget God sees you even when the other people don't. But if you get caught by them, now you're going to jail or having to face a fine or having to sit in prison for 24 hours, 48 hours a week for a tube of lipstick, for a dress that you pulled off. Wisdom versus folly. Because you thought, well, I got away with it one time. Now somebody said, well, why should I stay on that? Why can't you do something else? Well, I can talk about liars. We got those in church. Maybe we don't have nobody stealing in church. But we got liars. We definitely got liars. Oh, I know somebody said, no, we don't. You lying. We can't have liars in church. Sir and ma'am, some people are pathological liars. They lie so much, they don't even know they lie anymore. They've told lies so long, so often, they don't even know that they are lying. Wisdom versus folly. And so you say stuff and you do stuff because it seems to make you feel better. Get out of things that you want to get out of. Get around things you want to get around. Right? And so you think you're being wise because you think you're getting away with something. But like Elder Eason said, even if nobody else catches you, God sees you. God sees you. So no matter how much you think you're getting away, oh, pastor and the first lady and everybody else don't know I'm lying, and everybody can't tell I'm lying, I'm getting away with murder. No, you ain't getting away with nothing. Nothing. Because your folly is going to catch up with you. Because, the worst thing about lying is this. One lie adds to another lie, and then you got to keep all that straight. That's why I tell people sometimes that liars have to be super, super mentally capable. Because you got to keep all that stuff in your head. Truth is so much easier. Because if it's the truth, you just tell the truth. You just say what it is. When you're lying, you got to remember what lie you told to which person when. You got to remember the story because you get caught. You get busted. Because you told me that you were outside in a blue car with Johnny on Tuesday. Yet Johnny was working on Tuesday. So you didn't really go. So wait a minute. So then what were you doing? Oh, no. You misunderstood. No. You didn't know. I did. That's not what I was saying at all. No. Come now. Let us reason together. Though your sins be as scarlet, God is going to make them white as snow. But you've got to realize that there's choices that you're making with your life, and you can change your life. So even if you are a terrible liar, a thief, whatever the case may be, a whoremonger, a fornicator, whatever the case may be, you don't have to stay that way. You can begin to use wisdom, because wisdom will bring you to a place where you can now experience God in a way you've never, ever known to experience Him before. So wisdom is important because wisdom gives instruction to the wise, yet the foolish suffer at their own downfall. You want to know why you're struggling so? You're struggling because you refuse to exercise wisdom. You're trying to find a way to get over when God said, I gave you a path to be in victory. You're trying to find a way to get around it when God said, if you just follow me, I'll take you through it. So we have to understand the difference. Now, let me kind of read through these scriptures real quick. And God bless you. Thank you for the hand clap, Dr. Hall. Wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beasts. She hath mingled her wine. She hath also furnished her table. She hath set forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. I'm going to stop right there on that one point, and I'm going to get back to this, because today it seems like you can't tell nobody nothing. Don't tell me. Don't judge me. Only God can judge me. Don't tell me nothing. Don't try to correct my situation. Don't try to tell me where I'm wrong at. I know what I'm doing. I'm grown. You don't need to tell me nothing. I got this. Don't bother. Just leave me alone. Let me do me, and you do you, and we'll be all right. But it says, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So if you want to know if you're wise or not, it has everything to do with how you take instruction, how you take rebuke. Oh, I let me duck and dodge on that one because I felt the blows coming. You don't like being rebuked because you want to have it your own way, but this is not Burger King. Even Burger King don't really talk about having it your way no more. Burger King be like, listen, don't ask me no favors. Don't ask me to tell you don't want pickles. I don't want you to listen. We made the burger how we make it. Don't ask me for nothing.
Number 1 or number 2?
Okay, which combo you want? I don't want to know how you want it. It come with pickles. Take it off your own self. If you don't like it, take it off. No, but nobody's really trying to hear that now, right? But we want to try to make people do, we want to try to tell people what's going wrong with them, and people want to say, you can't tell me nothing. Don't talk about my skirt's too short. Okay. Don't tell me my too much of my cleavage is showing. Okay. Don't tell all that superficial stuff. God ain't even concerned about that anyway. Okay. That just tells me that you're a scorner. That tells me that you're into folly. Because I should be able to tell you these things, whether it be specifically a sin or not. The place that you worship is asking that you don't wear such attire. You have no problem working for whatever company you working for and wearing whatever they tell you to wear. If they tell you it has to be pressed, you go, but that's for money, right? And I know somebody tell me that that's for money. That's for my job. This church, God should be grateful I come. Really? Is that what it is? Is that where we are? We're at the place where God ought to be happy that you come in church. God ought to be happy that you saved. He ought to be glad that you gave your life to him. That's what God ought to do. Oh, I know y'all say, I'm not saying that about God. I'm talking about y'all church folks. Y'all church folks need to be happy. Y'all should be glad that I do what I do. You should be glad that I even come to church. You should be glad that I even watch a little live. You should be glad that I'm even interested. Scorner, folly. Because if you were wise, you would take in the rebuke and say, you know what? I don't really have to wear a skirt that short. I don't really have to do this. I don't really have to. Because it is petty. It is little. It's not anything big. It's not like I'm asking you to, change your whole lifestyle. You can wear that short skirt if you want outside. Just don't wear it here. You can wear it to the beach if you want, to the park if you want. You can wear it anywhere you want. Why do you have to wear it to church? Why can't you wear something a little bit more becoming of the house, with a little bit more respect for the house of God? Now, I know we don't do that anymore. We don't respect the house of God anymore. Matter of fact, we don't even come to the house of God anymore, right? COVID-19, so it don't matter. But wisdom desires that it receives rebuke. It says, listen, you're telling me something, and instead of me being on the defensive and feeling like it's a personal agenda against me, like you don't like me, wisdom says, let me consider what you're saying. And if it has any validity to it, begin to make adjustments. So, you might say, well, why you want to get on my nails? Because I wear long acrylic nails. I should be able to wear as much acrylic nails as I want to. If I want to wear a bunch of bling and a bunch of jewelry, you should have nothing to say about that. I might not have reason to say anything about that. And it might be your own preference and you can do what you want to. But then again, if that's the case, why do you want to be a part of the ministry that sees that as something that is not becoming? I'm sure that there are plenty of ministries where you can go and they have no problem with bright red lipstick. Now, I'm not saying we have a problem with bright red lipstick. I'm just saying there are some that do. So if you are a part of a ministry that has a problem with that and they express to you that they have a problem with that, you have a choice. Wisdom. Taking the rebuke in and understanding it and not being a scorner and being upset about it, but taking the rebuke in and saying, listen, I like this ministry and I believe that this ministry means me well. And if that means that I have to no longer wear bright red lipstick, well then maybe I'm not going to wear bright red lipstick when I go to church. Now, if that's hard for me and I think that that's just outlandish and it's too much for them to ask of me, then I need to find another ministry where they allow me to wear bright red lipstick. Now somebody said, she real crazy now. She telling me I'm supposed to swap churches just because I want to wear bright red lipstick. I'm saying that if you are with a ministry that has a problem with you wearing pants, then you probably should go and find a ministry that will allow you to wear pants. That's what I'm saying. Because if you know that the house does not agree with what you're saying and you still want to rebuke and rebel against it, that's not wisdom. There's plenty of places where you can go and worship that will allow you to do so. Now somebody said, well, wait a minute. So now you're telling me that there's no specific thing that is actually what God is saying and how we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to dress. No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I got a lot of clap hands and stuff. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we have to know wisdom and be able to take rebuke, receive correction. Even if it's correction that we don't feel is really valid. That's why I'm using the examples I'm using. Because if I use some other examples, those would be very valid. Like if they correct you because you shacking. Church term. If they correct you because you are living with someone that you're not married to and you are having relations where you know them intimately. And if someone corrects you about that, now that's very correct. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You don't have a right to do that. You need to correct that. And many people don't want to hear that. Don't tell me about my lifestyle. And then you want to jump in because you know some tea on somebody. So now instead of being wise, you want to be that scorner and you want to say, listen here, come telling me about that. You don't want me to talk about what I know about you. Now all of a sudden you want to bring out everybody else's luggage, everybody else's baggage, everybody else's skeletons. I want to talk about everybody else. Let's talk about you. We're having a conversation. And while we're having the conversation, I'm trying to help you. It's not time for you now to try to be like, oh, well, everybody, hey, nobody's perfect. Everybody got their thing. Yeah, everybody got their thing, but that don't mean we're supposed to let it go. I'm sure I got my thing. And somebody going to call me on the carpet on my thing. But it's not for somebody to let it go. Oh, wait, how dare you talk about me? I know that you, for a fact, you don't do this and you don't do that. That's not the response. Not if I'm using wisdom. A wise person will take that correction and say, you know what, I need to work on that. I need to adjust myself. I need to take into consideration that this is not becoming of my Christ walk. And not just jump up and say, hey, well, when you get yours right, I'll get mine right. Bump that. Huh? Really? I'm a scorner when I do that. Okay, let me move on because time is definitely flying. Anyone have any questions, comments? God bless you, Dr. Hall. I know. I'm probably going to have some rebuttals later. Nobody wants to say nothing now, but later everybody going to come. When everything's over, they're going to be like, listen here. You shouldn't have been saying that. My bad, but it's right.
The next scripture got it coming up.
Okay? So, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. For by me thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased. If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. Ugh. Now, a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. Now, if I had said that to y'all be getting mad at me. I read that directly from the Bible. The Bible says a foolish woman. It says a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple. And this is the hard part right here. Knows nothing. You don't know a doggone thing. You being foolish, you don't know nothing. That's what the Bible said. The Bible said you know nothing. Now, if I said you didn't know nothing and called you simple and said you was clamorous, you'd be mad at me. You'd jump all in my stuff, talking about why you insulted me, why you talking about me like that. I know stuff. I know what I'm talking about, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Then we get into this little argument. But the Bible said, when you're foolish, you know nothing. 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 For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither, And as for him that wanteth understanding, she said to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So this is the crazy, foolish woman. Wise woman brings you in and gives you understanding, teaches you, rebukes you, gets you to the place where you can become a better person. The foolish woman says, listen, don't worry about all that stuff. If nobody know nothing, then it didn't happen. Right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You ain't got to worry about it. It's good. We good. We good, man. If nobody knows, who cares? So if you stole water, if you stole it, whatever you took, this is what the foolish person says. If you steal something, it's sweet. As a matter of fact, you've heard people say it all the time. You have what's been given to you, but you want to take what somebody else got because it tastes better. They already gave you 5 bags of chicken. But those 5 bags of chicken don't mean nothing. You still want Niecy's. Niecy only got 1 bag of chicken. Why you want her bag of chicken? Because I don't want mine. Mine ain't as good as hers. It's the same chicken. It's the same chicken. But the foolish person thinks that if I take it from you, it tastes better. You don't believe me? Ask Donald Trump. President Donald Trump thinks that stolen waters are much sweeter. He don't want the stuff that belong to him. He wants the stuff that belong to you. I want to take from you what you got. I already got plenty. Not like I don't got a bunch, because he'll tell you all the time I'm really rich. But I still want to get what you got. What? And also, bread eaten in secret is pleasant. So when I do stuff and nobody knows about it, it feels great. So if I lie and I cheat and I steal, but nobody knows that I lie and I cheat and I steal, woo, it's awesome. You should try it. That's what Foolish Woman said. And so many people have been brought in to that idea that if I can do it in secret, then it's fantastic. And the problem with that is and we know stories and we know tales of preachers and ministers and ministries that were doing this and are still doing this. They have stolen water and they have bread in secret. And they think they're getting away with stuff. They think it's sweet and they think it's pleasant because nobody seems to know what's going on. But the interesting thing about the times that we're living in is that everything that can be revealed is being revealed. The covers are being pulled off and people are being exposed every day for stuff that they thought that they were going to get away with forever. Forever. And the funny thing about that's why it says they don't understand that there's dead people there. Dead are there. They think it's all great and dandy because this simple woman, this foolish woman is telling them all this stuff. And they thinking, man, I'm getting away. Yes, sir.
And even if they think they're getting away with it, Dr. Lee, we know they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
But the sad part is they don't know how many lives that they are being affected through that little incident that they just did. Although they may have thought they gotten away, but then what happens when you take something that don't belong to you, and what happens if that person has a family to feed?
Right.
What happens if that person have to take care of something, pay the light bill, pay the water bill, and you've taken it from them that may affect the whole family.
Exactly.
And you think you've gotten away with it. So although you may have think you have to think about how many people that may get affected by what you just did because you thought you may have gotten away with it.
Yep, the ripple effect.
And it says here, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And what happened, I don't want to take the word fear. I said the respect.
Mm-hmm.
The respect of the Lord. See, a lot of people don't respect the Lord. I mean, fear, they categorize the word fear with scared. The Lord don't want us to be scared of him.
That's right.
He just wants us
That's right.
And when you respect him, then that is the beginning of wisdom.
That's right.
That's the beginning of wisdom. When you put some thought into what you're doing before you do it. And what, hey, if I do this, what's going to happen?
What?
Who's
Exactly.
it going to affect? It's like a domino effect. Everybody's going to be affected by what you do.
Yep, that
You're
domino.
doing it to them. It's going to affect you one way or another. It's going to affect you.
That wake, that wave,
That's right.
that constant, because you feel the wake, the waves from the current that comes from, and it's forever changed, it's forever messed up, it's forever hurt, it's forever injured, because you chose to make a decision. You chose to do something that at the time seemed sweet and pleasant to you, but at the end of the story, it's death, it's destruction, it's terrible. And then the worst part is once it finally does become uncovered, because it will be uncovered, it will be exposed. Even if it's not exposed in your lifetime, it will be exposed.
That's right.
And the end of it will be so great, because what happens is once it becomes exposed, people are like, wait, so you telling me all this time, holy cows, Batman, are we really having this problem because of it all went back to that point? So you mean all this time I could have gotten out of this situation, but I'm stuck here and I'm trying to claw my way out based on a decision that was done and hid in the dark that has now affected my whole lifetime. And it happens day in and day out, and it happens way too much in the church. Consequences. Yes, ma'am, Dr. Hall, consequences. We don't respect God or each other. And we think because God is not throwing down hailstorms and fire and brimstone right now and opening up the floor and swallowing people whole, that it's okay. Nothing's happening. We good. God's all right with that. Just because mercy and grace are keeping you doesn't mean that you're okay. Doesn't mean it's all right. And God forbid that the person that you harm turn around and come back and shoot you dead. I know somebody said, oh no, that, if we're talking about church people and what, baby, there are some folks who are mentally having a situation and you pulling on their mental situation. And now they found out what you're doing. Now some people are far gone. They don't even care. They're like, look, I'm with it. You with it? I'm with it. You like it? I love it. Let's go. But there are others who are not ready for that. And you play that game all you want to. They coming in and they shooting you. They taking you out. And they will turn around and be like, I'm doing God's work. I'm doing the will of God. And maybe they are. Maybe God did send them to kill you. I don't know. But one thing I know is this. You don't want to play the folly game. Because it may seem great at the time. Roller coaster rides. Make your stomach drop, turn around, and everything like that. And you feel sick as a dog and everything else sometimes when you're on a roller coaster. But you're like, woo, yay, it's fun. Right? But that's only for the moment of the roller coaster ride. And if you have certain physical issues and ailments, it's going to tell on you afterwards. Real bad. So you had a good time for that short ride. But you hurt later. Consequences. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, in the next part of that scripture, we pray that you get an understanding. It says, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. And the knowledge of the Holy Spirit is understanding.
Yes.
We pray that you get that understanding before destruction comes
Yes.
on you.
Yes.
And that's what brings on the knowledge, so you can get understanding of what you're doing, of what may come upon you.
Right.
We pray that you get that
Yeah, we definitely don't want for anyone to end up messed up. And God bless you, Tanya. Um, Sister Tanya, for coming on. We thank God for you joining us on the Bible study. Thank God for Armando as well. We know that the choices that we make, whether it be wisdom or folly, will forever impact our life. And God can help bring you past the bad consequences that are the result of your bad choices. But you still have to deal with those consequences for the rest of your life. And somebody says, no, that's not, you know, God can totally, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Because that single mother who has that baby as a result of that one night stand, that baby is a consequence. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad consequence. I'm not saying it's a good consequence. I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying it's a consequence. And for the rest of your life, even after you've been forgiven, even after you've decided to make better choices, even after you grow to a place where you know how to now live and move and do good things, you still got that baby.
That's right.
You still got that
It ain't going nowhere.
for the rest of your life. It's with you. And it affects you for the rest of your life. Now, it may not be good, bad, or indifferent. You might be like, well, I love my children. I love to love my kids. And I love this and I love that. And it's probably true. And I'm not saying you don't. But there are certain things that are happening in your life. Certain things that you're not able to do. Certain things that places you're not able to go. Certain places, experiences you're not able to have simply because you must deal with that consequence. Now, I'm not saying your life isn't better. I'm not saying your life is worse. I'm just saying there are things that you are never going to be able to do or experience because you have that. Yes, sir.
You know, one thing I do know that even if you went through that path where you suffer the consequences, but if you turn that over into the Lord, and He will help you out, so that thing that you thought was so bad, now you turn it into the Lord's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he will see you through that.
He will help
He
that
will see you through
that burden so it's not as heavy.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you can't do it by yourself.
Nope.
And there's and having kids or anything like that is not the end of the world.
Nope.
But if you have the Lord on your side, He will put people in your path to help you out. He will put people in your path to do things for you, to kind of take the burden off of you. And not just using the kids as an example, but using anything as an example. You gotta turn it over to the Lord. Now you can't tackle it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because He is the problem solver.
Yes, sir. And the only reason why I use the kids is because it is a consequence that stays with you. Right? Because you could be promiscuous, get HIV/AIDS, and God will then, or an STD or whatever the case might be. And God delivers you from that. And so in that consequence, you suffered it and you are delivered from it. But you're not going to get delivered from a child. There's no deliverance from that child. But there is the ability to be able to raise the child, to be able to now benefit from the actual raising of a life, rather than it being a suffering, rather than it being a torment. Because it can be a torment as well as being a blessing. It just depends on, right, and whether you stick with folly or wisdom. Because there's some people who refuse to be wise about it and say, okay, well, look, I did this. I have to deal with this. I'm going to raise my children. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to stop. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to dedicate myself to really making sure that this kind of thing does not become a generational curse. Or you have people who say, look, I'm going to make grandma raise them. And I'm going to still go to the club. And I'm going to add to my situation. And I'm not going to just have one, but I'm going to have a whole plethora. Again, not talking against anybody, just saying the difference between wisdom and folly. Making choices. It's standing by the choices that you need to make and doing them in a way that gives God glory and honor. Well, I got to kind of wrap this up because we're at that point where we need to wrap up this. But if anyone has any questions, comments, thoughts that you'd like to share or ask, you can't ask them now. We'll try to identify or work with or give you an answer if we can at this moment. But the invitation, both folly and wisdom are inviting us to join their party, right? Wisdom says, come be with me. Folly says, come be with me. So you have to kind of decide whose party you going to, whose house you going to hang out at, which place you going to go. Are you going to go to the place of wisdom or are you going to go to the place of folly? Folly makes it seem real good. Folly be like, it's banging. We got it going on over here. What? Or whatever you all do now. But wisdom is kind of sober. Wisdom kind of seems strict. It doesn't seem like a lot of fun. Seems really kind of like straightforward. Why they gotta seem so? They don't seem like they're having no fun, no good time. I ain't dead yet. I ain't that old neither. I don't want to do all that. Nope. But wisdom will let you get to be that old. Folly will let you die early. Just saying. Just something to think about. So, I know some people say, I don't want to live to be old anyway. Well, listen. Keep on living. And when you get to that age that you thought was old, because there's an age that all of us think is old until we get close to it. And then it's not nearly as old as you think it is. And you like, oh no, I ain't old. What's old is this? Old moves, honey. I'm sorry, Dr. Hall. I can't give an extension of this lesson next week. I appreciate that you enjoyed it. However, next week, I believe someone else will be teaching the Sunday or teaching the class. And so we'll have a different instructor and more than likely a different lesson. But I thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate you asking for the extension. I just won't really be able to. So any questions, Dr. Sherry? That you want to ask that we can probably try to address at least in this section before we close out? So let me kind of go into the dig a little deeper section. I appreciate it. I really do. And I had a couple people talk to me about something else I had done. They were like, you got to do a part 2 on that. I'm like, I can't. Not my option, not up to me. So I can't really do that. But as we get ready to close out, and I'll get ready to turn this over to Elder Eason. Oh, all right. Elder Eason, they said everything that you said answered everything, so they don't have no questions. You answered everything in what you said, so they don't have no questions.
That means we're on point.
All right, so in the digging a little deeper section of our Sunday school book, it says, the price of infidelity in marriages often leads to the death of the marriage among nearly every race of people. The devastation of unfaithfulness, lies, and all that goes with betrayal is inestimable for the broken-hearted spouse. According to research, infidelity and divorce rates are higher among black families than in white families. One scholar states that black men are nearly twice as likely to be unfaithful as white men, which is a major factor in family dissolution in the disproportionate rates of HIV. While both men and women are victims of infidelity, the first qualitative study on infidelity examines the experience of 20 black wives whose husbands broke the marriage covenant. Of women in this study, 80% identified as Christian. Let me say that part again. Of women in this study, 80% identified as Christian. Is the race of husbands of the 20 black wives factored into the equation, or is it assumed that they were all black men? It is also important to add that less than 2% of people who proclaim to be Christian actually practice Christianity. Let me say that again. It's also important to add that less than 2% of people who proclaim to be Christian actually practice Christianity. True worshipers are followers of Christ and his teachings and will not be listed among those in an infidelity study regardless of race. What a challenge for the church. Marriage rates are down, but divorce rates are up. Children being raised without fathers, all too common in our community. It's prevalent among those who populate the pews. Families of every race are under attack. The entire Christian community as a family is under attack. Family is in distress. Lady Folly has set up camp and needs to be dislodged. Pastors, teachers, and believers might schedule a meeting with Lady Wisdom and strategize ways to restore the family and the church in the image God intended. Wisdom might suggest 1 full year of discipleship, sermons, classes, special services, and other creative events to focus on the family. This may include the Black family, church family, Christian family, and the culturally connected family. So as we dig a little deeper, we have to understand that wisdom helps us to really begin to get our eyes on the real truth, which is that if we have our family together, then the church will be together. And if our church is together, then the community will be together. And if the community is together, then we're really doing the will of God. Thanks, guys, for allowing me this time to teach and instruct. Appreciate all the encouragement, Dr. Sherry Hall. Appreciate everyone that came on. Thank you, Janie, for your comments. Again, thank God for all y'all. At this time, I'm going to turn it over into the hands of Elder Eason to close us out. And until next Thursday, we'll see you.
Amen. From sitting in your living room, let's give Dr. Lee a hand.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But what I would like to just give you a little reminder, I said it when we open up. Mother Thomas Wake will be here tomorrow afternoon. The family will be here at 4 o'clock. So anytime after 4 o'clock, I think you're welcome to come. From 4 to 6 or 4 to 7.